Hello and welcome back to Koru Kiwi Arts. My name is Darren. I'm a New Zealand cultural artist living here with his wife in Istanbul. And thank you for watching the channel. This isn't a sponsorship video today. It's going to be something a little different. It's going to be me showing you some of the stuff that we purchased from this outstanding art supply store here in Istanbul, in Fenerbahçe. And first I'll show you this paper. Very, very cool paper. I wanted to try watercolors because I love the texture, I love the way it flows on the paper, and I just love the medium. Absolutely love it. And I love oil paints, but oil painting to me is a bit, I don't know, it just takes too long to dry and it's a bit dangerous. Lots of chemicals and everything, so that's why I paint in acrylics. Now acrylics and oils are exactly the same once they dry, because it's made out of the same properties, but is an oil base and one's a water base. But the oil base absolutely gives you more freedom and makes your pictures look more vibrant, where the acrylics are quite a matte. It gives it a matte finish. You can get a gloss and put a gloss over it, or you can get paints that have gloss in them that makes them pop. But I prefer acrylics because if I make a mistake, I just paint over it. And I just like the finish, and I like the freedom it gives me, because I can just paint whatever I want quickly. And yeah, I mean, oils I could do the same thing, but I prefer acrylics. It's just my preference. Let me fix this. So this watercolor paper, now they had quite a few different varieties of it. Some with real rough textures that gives it that homemade feel about it, homemade paper feel. But this is quite smooth. I prefer to paint on a smooth finish. Now it's protected by a wax seal around it, and to separate the paper you have to put your spatula into the back end and run it around the edge to separate each piece, which is a great idea because when you're painting it, your paper is not going to curl up. But it's quite thick, and the sizes are 30 by 40 centimeters. It's a good size to start off with. I didn't want to do something too small or something too large, and it wasn't cheap. I mean, if you're an outsider buying it, then obviously it's going to be reasonable, but like the rest of the world, everything's gone up in price. But I wanted to buy something that's good quality, that's going to last, and there's a lot of paper here. There is 20 sheets. It's going to last me a long time to paint through all these, and I want to do my best watercolors ever on these, and hopefully I'll get to share them on YouTube and Instagram. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, please do so. Now these are the watercolors in which I purchased. Winslow Newton watercolors. I'll show you a close-up of these shortly. Now you can buy them with already selected paints inside them, which we did, but also added extra paints. I went through and bought separate ones, and I add them into the palette here. I'm looking forward to using these, which is great. And also we bought some paintbrushes. So these are the watercolors, Winslow and Newton. What a lovely palette. Now they had different sizes, And now you can buy them already with paints, but I wanted to buy some extra ones so I could so I don't need to mix the colours that I need. But there we go. So this is your mixing palette here. This is a little chart. So what I need to do is paint each one of these colours on here so I know what it looks like, the colour, because some of these colours here are quite dark. But I put them in order from greens to reds, purples to blues, black and greys, and the browns. Now these are quite small. I've seen bigger ones, but apparently this is a good quality paint. I have brought watercolors from the tube years ago, so I'm going to give these a go. These should last me a long time. This is the paper I was talking to you about. It's got a very, very nice smooth finish. Oh, there you go. There's some of the paints that you can buy. That's what I brought here. And you can buy the tubes as well. I like the tubes, but they tend to go off if you don't leave the lids on. Now, these are the paint brushes. I've got a fan brush here. Very nice fan brush. I have some other fan brushes that I have for my acrylic painting. And these paintbrushes here are especially for watercolors. And I'll have to fix that. Very nice. And they're quite light. Nice handles. My wife purchased this. It's a pen. It allows you to add in detail over the top of your watercolors. I've never used anything like this before, but they had many colors, but this is just black. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she does with it. We're going to be sharing these brushes and paints, and this is a very fine brush for applying the fine detail. These are very light. They're solid, but they feel like I'm not holding anything. And I'm going to keep these caps on them to protect the tips, because when I'm out and about, if I do get to do paintings on site, I can take this with me, and by having those, I know that it's not going to bend or damage the tip of my paintbrushes. But my wife purchased this. It's a art masking fluid for watercolors. So when you're doing a white or a wash over your paper, you can mask off certain areas with this to prevent the paint from going to those certain areas. And you wait for it to dry. So you do all your painting and then you peel it off. It just comes off real easy, and then you can apply a different color or whatever. So I've never used it, and I have seen it being used on YouTube, so I may use it, I may not. So let's see. Also, we have this watercolor medium which separates the colors. So if you mix this with your watercolors, when you apply it to your paper, it separates them, and it gives it a sort of fancy little texture. So it's great for doing things like river rocks or bricks or maybe the clouds. So I'm looking forward to that. And I purchased this. It's a spray bottle. It was really cheap, and you fill up with water and you spray the paper, and then you can apply your watercolor on there, and it dilutes, and you can spread your color around real easy instead of putting the color and water on your brush and doing it that way. So there you go. And they also gave us a color chart, and so if we need to purchase any more colors, we can select them here and ring them, and they can post it to us. And they also gave me a carry bag, which is quite nice, very nice, and a few other things. So I'm looking forward to doing some watercolors, but before I do that, I have to finish off my acrylic paintings. And I have another painting which is up there. These are magnolia flowers. They were taken from a photograph, and which my wife took from her phone, and I painted them on this canvas. And yes, so I'm going to be putting some birds up here. I'm not sure where. I'm going to paint the background a little darker. But another reason why I like oils is it gives you plenty of time to blend your colours. But with acrylics, you haven't got any time, and it dries too quickly. So you have to work reasonably fast. But there is a medium in which you can apply to your acrylic paints that gives you a little extra time to play around with your colours. And but I don't tend to like using any sort of medium or any sort of thing like that in my acrylic paints, because I don't want to later on find my paints cracking or colouring or whatever. So I like to use them naturally without any additives or anything added into the paints, because there's a lot of products out there, and there are obviously some very good ones and some very bad ones. So I'm not sure what direction in which I should take. That I had to cut it off because I was just rambling on about nothing. And you don't want to be sitting here watching me just ramble on about stuff that you probably already know about. But anyway, if you want to, please follow us on Instagram or on YouTube. It'd be great to have you. If you get a like from me, it's a big heart. It's my appreciation to say thank you for watching. Write in the comments box below what you think I should do next for a video. Thank you. Bye now.